I was searching for a better way, and then I found you, Ale. He gave me nationality and brought me back to reality. I was searching for a better way, and then I found you, Ale. He gave me nationality and brought me back to reality. I was searching for a better way. I found you, and he saved me. He brought me back to reality. And I was searching for a better way. Found you,
This is a homage beat.
Hell's hot, but get cold when it's winter. My earth takes a break, quake cities off the cliff, down deep sea into mountain, continental shift. The continent could drown or rip. There's more, think not. You don't know what I'm into, where I'm at. Soul in the mental, smack all instrumental around me. It's all about my circle squared up for my nature. Fear not, love bravery. I'm out. I didn't make her. She made me to create the world. The home she in, shape her skin, container, frame, no minor. She a major win, angel and grew up educated on the demons, veiny, scaly wings, major paper bullshit, the mother for that. Got nothing to back, Negro black colored, on the chopping block, still on the block, chopping whatever they rap, rob, recover the chop, the world's shaking. Still my words, you take it in, hear me speaking out your ear holes. How can you retain a quote? Stop, your brains bang, shot, but still you won't crow. Commander in chief. Masters turn sheep at the battle. They stay chattel to eat. And wolf from my white beats. At times a werewolf, they attack me and turn food towards the garden. Cold water make a black sea. Black male, black coat, black blue. Black list, black ball, black shoe. Black male, black trees, black news. There's no such thing as a black man.
Pair trip is life's work, with a little more aid in the fight hurt to keep me here a little longer, just a little stronger. Keep me a pondering, dreaming, praying mother stop burying the babies in the dirt. How life work, no longer mysticised when I lift my eyes. This is how strife hurt, and I'm confined to a mind that only believes in false hope. Straight through a sea of lies down the drain where the soul lurks. Couldn't believe my eyes, years searching, broken. How could I deny what you stolen, cheating? Only leaves me peace in the breakdowns mentally. Single mother raised 4, 2 sons, 2 daughters, and a second daughter only meant to be another single mother. She raised 4, and only princess knew that she gon' add to the score. It's a team effort, right? It's a cycle repeats. My socio-political economic defeat sweep me right from under my feet. Short days, long nights, cold hungry in the streets. Brothers and sisters from another mister. Still I'm left alone to defend my demons. Still left to own this life from the egg and semen. Make dirty wrongs clean, right? Friends turn enemies, loved ones memories fade. No pretty picture. Watch the vibration raise on the...
And this statue was in the middle of the walkthrough. So here is the subway station, Mohrenstraße, you see it, right? And you have statues. This guy here is Jacob von Keith, and he was a general field marshal. Okay.
So you're saying
A
that
field
there
marshal.
was a trend that any of the dark statues they would be more.
Yeah. You know, supposedly that's the Masonic that's the Masonic code that a lot of people don't know. So even if that's not true, you bypass that, all right? Wait, I got something to show you. So that's
because there's a couple statues around here of people that I know Greek, but I'm wondering whether they're trying to feed off of that.
Right.
Feed off of that energy still. Whether right? They're not truly more in terms of their skin color, but they're wanting to feed off of that.
But they could also be, like, if it's Greek, they could also be amalgamated Moors. Right? So you know what I mean? So there you go. So this is a general field marshal, right? That's one image that I saw. That's one statue that I saw. This one here, which is kind of dark, but I'll show it anyways. This is Friedrich Wilhelm von Seidlich. Okay, and it says General, Cavalier General. Okay, it's dark as well. Who's that one?
Who's that? General?
That's Cavalier General. It says General de Cavalier, so it's Cavalier General. Then this one is Kurt Christoph Graf von Schwerin. Don't know where that is. And he is a general field marshal as well. So he has the flag, and he's doing his thing. He has a sword. Now keep in mind, like I said, this is all on the little walk area of Moore Street in Berlin. And this is Hans Karl von Winterfeld, and he is General Lieutenant. Okay. Okay. So the last one, to me, is the most interesting. But first, I'm going to show you, that's kind of like the area that you see. You see statue there, and it goes further back. All back there, you see statues. Now this is General von Zeiten, and this is supposedly this. What I understand is this: all these people were in his cavalier, so he was the head of the cavalry. So he was the general of the cavalry. And check him out. What do you see? Fez, feather. Here's get a close-up of his face. So he has a fez and a feather, right? Posing. This side shot, you can see the tassels right here. Okay. And he has the cape and the Shivatar sword. Now,
there's a lot more. Peace and love. You already know how pop-up goes. Sometimes they just happen anytime. Sometimes they just happen anytime. So, first of all, once again, we want to send a shout out to all the Moors, anywhere that the Moors are at. You know about your nationality and your birthrights, Islam to you. No matter where you're at. You know what your nationality is? Are you a foreign sympathizer of the Moors? Islam to you. Are you a brother or sister from the East? Islam to you. Are you a faithful, dues-paying member of the Moorish Science Temple of America? Islam to you. People stay getting played with. And they stay playing the game that their people put on them. And then opposed to stop dealing with these people, you perpetuate their nonsense. When they sold you out, how they selling you out and then you're riding with their stuff still when they sold you out? So we figured that, you know, since our people know their self and they don't want to, since they don't want to accept certain things, sorry, Sister Fatima got me distracted. Because I got your email, sis. So yeah, we'll definitely build. We'll build after this. We'll definitely build after this. Because I got your email.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not you. The sister in the chat. So yeah. So we figure since these people are playing around, we're gonna deal with their stuff for them. Because I really don't get it. So right now, we're at day number 2. Kuji Chagaluya. Self-determination. But before that, we go yesterday, which is Umoja, unity. Now, if you didn't know, yesterday, Kwanzaa started, for the people who don't know. For the people who do know, shame on you, playing around. Because it's all Moorish science. Why don't you just proclaim your nationality and be Moors? You're following some BS, some fake stuff some man created, lying to you about this is some African whatever. Lying. And again, people tell on themselves because, you know, they think that they can just do some interview or whatever. They think that they could do some interview or something like that. And then stuff's not going to get documented because, you know, they didn't know that this age was coming up. So a lot of them played their self back then. You know, putting out certain stuff like, we put out yeah, you're not going to see no pictures of us in a fez and stuff like that. Oh, sorry. Good try, though. You thought you got rid of all the pictures, huh? But there's one picture left. One picture? No, 2 pictures probably. 3 tops of NOI people with the NOI stuff wearing fezzes. There's probably 3 pictures. Because they want to hide stuff. But you can't hide when you're lying. Because truth reigns supreme. So the Washington Post did an interview with Ron Karenga, or Ron Everett, fake conscious guy, created Kwanzaa. That their people say is the elder now respect them and all that BS. And they're straight lying to the people. So there's an interview out there where he goes on the record now. This is what he put on the record. People think it's African, talking about Kwanzaa. People think it's African, but it's not. I wanted to give black people a holiday of their own. So I came up with Kwanzaa. I said it was African because you know black people in this country wouldn't celebrate it if they knew it was American. Also, I put it around Christmas because I knew that's when a lot of bloods would be partying. Now, and you could speak with anybody from the Cali jurisdiction, but during the times before Watts riots and stuff like that, Bloods was not just some gang, whatever. People called each other Blood. You know, that's why they had the reggae song, One Blood, and all that stuff. Because it wasn't initially a gang. Right? Because you're kin. So you call them your blood. Call them blood because you're gang. Call them the blood because we're of the same bloodline. But as we know, during that time was the conflict between U.S. organization, which was Karanga, and Black Panther Party. And we know Panthers got murdered by U.S. organization members. Now, putting it around Christmas, because the Negroes is a party time. Put it around there. Told them that it was African because you wouldn't celebrate it, you Negroes, if you knew it was American. American. Why wouldn't they celebrate American stuff if they're American? They're over here. Oh yeah, because of the indoctrination, because they said that they came over here on a slave ship from over there, West Africa. Now it's real interesting that these so-called slaves from Africa that are going through their little black guy created celebration for their African revitalization of their culture BS. Know that they came from West Africa on slave ships, but they're following a guy telling them about some Swahili, which is East African. You're not from East Africa. You guys are from West Africa. According to your story, you came over here on a slave trip, and this is a way of you getting back to your culture. So if you're getting back to your culture, you're going to celebrate Kwanzaa instead of Christmas, because Kwanzaa is African. Well, no, it's not African. It was created by this guy, who was a U.S. organization member. And you don't even think about no Kwanzaa or whatever. people think it's African, according to what he's saying. Why do people think he's African? Because that's how they pushed it, that it's African. Because they said a Swahili word. Like, do you know Kwanzaa? That word is not even the word. They added letters to that word to make that word be Kwanzaa. But that's not even the word that they would use in Africa. But you're following stuff, so it's okay. We get it. You lost your mind. The white man took your stuff or whatever. So because the white man took your stuff, you don't know. So you're trying to find your way back. All right, cool. No problem. No problem. Now, being that Kwanzaa is not authentically African, these people should have no connection with it because it's not an African thing. Now, when we go back to the moral mother, and she was talking about the European psychology, go check the rituals that so-called Jews do for Hanukkah. How come there's things in Kwanzaa that are also in Hanukkah, but they're not connecting that for you? Several candlesticks not African in that context. But everybody knows that when you're dealing with any type of quote unquote cultural practice, and you start relating things in repetitive numbers, that there's significance behind them using that number. Why aren't the people told? Because remember, we used to do the Kwanzaa and all that stuff. So we're talking to somebody from the inside realized that just some BS and got out of it because BS. Yep. Why do they talk about the angel number 7? Which all the 7 stuff, the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, the 7 days that you're going to celebrate it on, the 7 stuff that has to be on the table, the 7 candlesticks or whatever, the 7 candles, the 7 flames on the candles, which all these things have some type of get back to your African culture or whatever, but you're not going there. You still want gifts. You still want presents. Like it's Christmas for black people. Which is what really it is, because he even said so. And when you go check right now, you can go to any department store and you're going to see them selling Kwanzaa stuff there. So this is no longer some Kwanzaa for some African people or whatever. Came over on a slave ship, get back to their culture. Kwanzaa is corporate. Kwanzaa is commercial. And it's always been commercial. Always. And it's being put down that these people are playing you. Right? They say that they got their because this is in honor of the African, whatever like that, we're gonna use the African liberation colors because we honor Marcus Garvey and all that stuff. Well, Garvey said you're gonna be happy when you get your nationality. What's you guys' nationality over there, black guys? Celebrating your fake Kwanzaa. It's not even spelt like the Swahili Kwanzaa. But you're gonna have candles and say that you're repping something because you have no culture. All right, man. Tell me that green is for some grass or some African BS. FOH. That's layman. Green represents balance between mind and emotions and body. Renewal, freshness. That's why they relate it to land. As in RBG flag, the green means the green land of the whatever. There's something higher going on. And they want to keep you in dumb zone. They don't want you to recognize green as fertility and prosperity. They don't want to let you know that when they used to say greenbacks and stuff like that, people who wanted that gravitated around green. Go read those people's little life stories and all that stuff. Because everybody was on the science while we were dumb Negroes. Everybody using the science. When I tell you that you got green candles on the table so you can exude love, because green is the heart chakra. Let me tell you that. And they go there. They're not giving gifts so people could be happy, think that this is Christmas. Those gifts are supposed to be for the ancestors. Which is why they took your stuff and they marketed it. And your dumbass is sitting here going somewhere to go buy Kwanzaa stuff. And talk about how come we don't have our own stuff? How come black people are in this and that? They just keep following BS to deal with your ancient principles. Why did they let you know that green's supposed to help you in your relationships? I tell you that when you and whoever is having an argument, light a green candle, put that between both of you. Bet you there's no arguments. Because all this is ritualistic. Why is it candles? It could have been anything. Red, black, and green that you put on the table. Why candles? Candles are metaphysical. You use candles for rituals. Don't just light candles just because you feel like lighting candles. You just feel like lighting candles. What do you think people, when they go do their little bath and stuff like that, they got lights out and beer candles everywhere because they want dim light? They want dim light, so we're just gonna light some candles. Think the candles have nothing to do with the therapy that you're getting from the aroma?
Right.
How come they don't tell you that red is the base chakra? Why the hell is it even up there with green candles? But we get it because, you know, red has high potency because it's the base. So it's fire. You can use fire to protect yourself or burn everything down. So it's a double-edged sword. You must yield carefully. You just light that and walk away from the table. Then you have everybody eating food around this red candle that you didn't even put any energy out there to make sure these candles do what they're supposed to do that you're lighting. It's all higher things that's going on. Like, who knows? The whole point of Kwanzaa was maybe for you to learn about your chakras. And it's not about the gifts and the food and the whatever. Because we know it's not African, so don't even go there. That's what we're doing this for. You can't even use that anymore about that's why you're doing Kwanzaa. Because we just showed you some candles. Or we're just talking about some candles. And this is where it's going to. And remember, every light on the wick has its own significance to the color candle. Personally, there shouldn't even be black candles on the table. Because yes, it could be used as dispelling energy and absorbing negative energy and things like that. Yes. But black is affiliated with dark arts.
Yep.
When you're talking about candles, we're not talking about people, we're not talking about cupboards or anything else black that people love. We're talking about candles. And if the practice has things exercised in it that have significance grander than what the participants are presented with, then you're wasting your time. Might as well just stay the hell home. Because you're talking about yesterday was unity. If yesterday was unity, how come all these people are stateless? Talking about they're celebrating some principles. How are you celebrating principles when you have no principles? Now, you're not even acknowledging the universal principle that you have a right to a nationality. You have a right to that, a nationality. Don't want that. And then you're talking about some celebrating something. Unity is very specific. There's a lot more. You want to test out your new book? Islam. You got.
I was looking in the I can look it up in the fifth.
Yeah, well, whatever you got. Whatever you got.
All right. Okay. All right. Yes, Islam. Yep, because they was going in on unity. And according to Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, page 1703 and 1704, it states unity. First sentence in the law of the states. So we dealing with a state. Before we go in on the rest of the definition, first sentence in the law of a state. So when they talk in unity, we dealing with a state in law. And in order to have an estate, you must have a nationality, because nationality determines your estate. Because it gives you your political status, your standing at law. Because now you have a nationality, you can say who you are. It ties you back to a land. Black doesn't tie you back to any land. Therefore, black can't be titled to a state. So therefore, by law, black can't be unity or unified or anything of that nature in law, because black doesn't tie you back to a land, like Dr. Henry Clark said. So you know, when they keep saying unity, everybody, not just in Kwanzaa, all of them, when they keep saying unity in law, and since law governs everything, first sentence in the law of a state, black doesn't deal with land, so it doesn't tie you back to an estate. So therefore, you can't be talking about no unity. Kwanzaa, that's why we looking at it the way we're looking at it, like the principles they're giving. It's all Moorish science, because it's basically the same thing we're saying.
Right, and they even know in their Nguzu Saba principles that Umoja is striving for unity in the family, community, race, and nation. That's in their own stuff. So it goes back to that thing again. If you're talking nation, you're talking estate, and black's not an estate. So what are you guys talking about? Some Kwanzaa. That's spelled wrong.
Right. That's spelled wrong. Right.
Sorry, boy. Carry on, boy.
No, it just right back. It even makes it even more. Makes it more clear that they even have it in their own writings. It brings you back to nation. Black doesn't bring you into a nation. So therefore, when they even put in that unity and they try to tie you into black with unity, that being fraud, as soon as they say that, black power, black whatever, in unity, they selling you back into slavery in law.
Right now, keep in mind, selling you back into slavery. Remember, just like we said with Kwanzaa, that Swahili, that stuff they spell wrong. Even in the so-called individual's name, Maulana. Now, how come they're talking about bringing you some Swahili, whatever, but Maulana is Arabic?
Yeah.
And they treat Maulana like Ali. And that's a title for Islamic leaders.
Right.
How does an African black guy have a title for Islamic leaders pushing some East African fake whatever on people? And they're not realizing that, hey, hold on a second, he's Arabic. If he's Arabic, then that means he's Islam. What the hell?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And again, why are they using some East African whatever? Right? Karenga is even East African. Why is he? I thought he's a slave from West Africa. How you get an East African name and you're a slave from West Africa?
Right.
How? And everybody knows.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. Since he brought up John Henry Clark, we'll just give him a little quote right here. Give him a little quote on Karenga. He has not atoned to the community for his attempt to destroy the Panther movement. He has not atoned for being a police informant. This is the Kwanzaa founder guy. And this is coming from John Henry Clark. This is not what Kudrow says. This is what John Henry Clark says. If you don't believe, go watch Million Man March and Fake Leadership on YouTube. So you can hear him say it for yourself. Don't get mad at Kudrow said something and I'm spoiling your Kwanzaa party. John Henry Clark. It wasn't me. Right? I didn't say Santa Claus is not real. You know what I mean? I just never had a chimney, so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Right, never.
Right? He has not atoned for the way he treated black women. The women he mistreated and mutilated were dark in complexion. The women in his harem are light in complexion. The number one woman is a Mexican in what seems to be an Afro wig.
You mean has a harem?
All right. So if he has a harem, who had those?
Right.
Only one group of people in history that they talk about they had harems. One group of people only.
Right.
Right. When certain things get said, know that, you know, like when John Henry Clark said, "You're not Negro, black, colored," no, he was studying certain people's stuff. Because black guys don't talk like that. Only certain people talk like that.
Going on that.
Let me tell you, black's a stupid name, and Negro's some Portuguese BS. Why are you calling yourself that? He was studying certain information that only certain people talk about like that. Everyone doesn't speak in favor of the Moorish history. And many people in their late days came to the realization that we were playing around with this African BS. They got black scholars that even came out and told these people that Kemet is even some fake BS. Ain't nothing called Kemet in ancient Egypt. That some black guys made up Kemet because they didn't like the fact that Egypt was being referenced with European faces and stuff like that. So they started playing Kemet with people. And people started chasing that still stuff's Kemet. Their own leader told them that. Their own scholar, told them that. Right, these people have their children playing around in these people's mess. Getting their mind warped. Because they're not even taught that they have to know. The first thing that they have to know is about self. They're chasing stuff. But then they have principles, second principle is the self-determination of BS, and they don't even know about self. They don't even know thyself, which again goes back to, nationality again. Which again leads back to the first principle of unity, Because if you have of course you're going to be self-determined if you have unity. It's the order of operations. All the principles represent the 7 days, which represent the 7 chakras, which represent the 7 Elohim, which represent everything that's 7.
Yeah.
Forget some candlesticks on the table. The divine idea has to be in place, self, before the determination can happen. Now, we could see why self-determination would be one of the principles, because, this sellout who tortured these 2 sisters, that these people are parading around like they're supporting some African whatever, when it's this guy who tortured some sisters, who got convicted and all of that. Tortured some sisters over some BS. And he was determined that when he got out, he's going to be somebody still.
Mm-hmm.
He was self-determined that, hey, my stuff's not over. Like, I was the founder of U.S. organization. Go read his autobiography. And people bowing down to him and stuff like that when he was U.S. organization. He had followers like that no matter what, that fraudulent position is always going to be there. Because I have people that rep for me. Forget this organization BS that we're doing. I am people's Christ. Which is why, again, they go back to these people and the names that they pick to call themselves. As soon as you see people that they call themselves Ali and stuff like that, be wary. As soon as they start saying that they're the queen of some kingdom that they created yesterday, you know that they're trying to get you on the treadmill. And then the treadmill is what keeps their little flying machine going. That you're just running this treadmill to keep this thing going for them. Opposed to you working on your divine idea. Because the flesh man is the incomplete man. Because he's only in the physical. Yeah, you know, body. You could pull a bus, that means you're somebody. How about spell if? The true accomplishment of know thyself is man being what he knows. Self. The true self. Not the ego-driven self like Karenga and these people who want to be somebody after they tortured all these sisters. There was only 2, but we're going to count all their eggs that you tortured too. But they're parading around on some man that tortured sisters. That's what they're repping. That's what it is that they're repping. Keep in mind, all the reference points show that the only way two Panthers could have got killed is if the assailants were working with the FBI. There's no other way that it could have happened. Because you're not talking about people who aren't a threat. You know, we see what they did to Fred Hampton, so we already know. We see what they've done, even from before them. Right, like, remember the mission was to stop the Panthers at that time. The mission was to stop the Panthers at that time. Because what were they doing? They were bringing people back into the constitutional fold.
Right. Islam, Grand Chief.
Yeah, more.
I was just reading an article about Karenga that the group that he called himself and his followers that was going against the Panther Party, they call themselves the United Slaves.
U.S.
This is, yeah, U.S. United Slaves. I'm like, United Slaves, though? Like, why would you? United Slaves. And it says that the United Slaves were proto-fascists walking around in dashikis, gunning down Black Panthers. Like, that's what they were doing. Karengas, that's the Kwanzaa creator guy. He was going around gunning down Black Panthers who were telling them their people about the Constitution. He's going around gunning them down. I never heard about that Dr. Henry Clark going in on it neither. That's bugging me out too. But yeah, that's crazy. This man was going around killing his own.
Right. And you could check for the COINTELPRO program and how they used infiltration. Like, infiltration was a huge thing,
right,
in order to take down the Panthers. But there was also having the provocateurs, or quote unquote the other Black groups that they're just taking orders.
Yeah.
They're just taking orders. Some orders, assassination orders and stuff like that. Just go listen to even, some of Geronimo Pratt interviews and stuff. That, like, people were out to get them back then. And again, a lot of it is not that, like, don't see the behind the scene things and get caught up that that wasn't the norm. Like, this is just how things were done. You have the ones that are doing something, and all the people, including the headmaster, whose job is to try to keep these people on the plantation that want to leave. You're not leaving. You walk around with guns all you want. But your state, well, if we're doing that, then we're going to have our own breakfast program and we're going to do our own whatever. So these people that are put in place that show up later about, yeah, we're African American people and all that type of stuff, and then they become your spokesperson when they've sold you out. That's also a pattern, and this is another one of them. Have you following something that right now is commercial, that you think that that's something limited to yourself? Like if only Chinese people follow Chinese New Year. That's their jurisdiction. Everybody has their own time. And then one group of people, all they do is chase after gods of who they know nothing.
Wow.
Demigods, freaking, it doesn't matter. Any type of god. And always forgetting, I give a big Islam to Brother Inyan for slapping us with the shovel the other day that it's going to be the 50th anniversary of King Alfred Plan. Still in operation. 50 years they've been plotting on these blacks, Hispanics, minorities, Latinos, poor whites, Puerto Ricans, anybody who's claiming that they don't have a nationality. We already have something in place for you. Well, like John Henry Clark said, where's the atonement for all the BS? They just get to walk back in.
Right.
Just get to walk back in. Now, you can also look up the Bobby Seale letter. Black Panther newspaper, 1969. Black Panther newspaper, 1969, where they had a letter denouncing Karenga. Now, who you repping? You repping for the Panthers, or you repping for some UN FBI agent organization? These people don't stop getting the passes because everybody is afraid to say F that fake elder BS. You can't be an elder and an agent.
Right.
No.
I remember Todd said nobody wanted to challenge the sellouts back then.
But again, but remember too that the whole not challenging the sellouts is the yellow journalism part of it, where these so-called European or otherwise black news magazine people pushing Kwanzaa without talking about Karenga. Because remember, they're part of the brainwash machine. Because people knew from the jump that this is the guy who founded Kwanzaa. There would be no Kwanzaa right now. Our people aren't that stupid. It was straight propaganda. Because they already know the effect that they wanted. The people taking their finance out of Christmas, putting it into Kwanzaa, which is the same jurisdiction. But now they're playing double because now they think it's some African stuff. So they're going all out on some stuff created by FBI agent. And because it has RBG in it, and candles in it, and kente cloth, and ears of corn, and all the principles, and they're bringing back our culture because we have all the symbols from Swahili, which we're not even from there, but it doesn't even matter because it's African, so we're just gonna ride with it.
Even though he told them it wasn't African.
Told them.
He used it as African because black people, he said it, black people and they accept it. So like they should, once he said that, they should have looked at the whole thing as falling. Like he's already making it up as some BS. So the whole thing should be BS. Like he wasn't using it as pure. He was scheming. He was looking for mischief ways to try to get stuff in there.
And don't forget, the case is public record too. So like, don't think you can't, you know what I mean, go check.
He said he just made it up. He just made it up.
You know what I mean? Like he just made it up.
But then, because when you look it up, what the definition really truly was supposed to mean, supposed to be harvesting.
Yep.
But nobody even mentions that. Like when you look up what it was supposed to be, it was supposed to be some harvesting. You can right now, you going outside harvesting something? It doesn't even make sense for the harvesting. It's supposed to be but even my thing is like, if it's some harvesting, shouldn't Karenga have some agriculture center somewhere? If it's supposed to be about harvesting, why are people still buying Christmas gifts, toys and stuff? Why, like, what? Nobody is. They still, like you said, they just because that's some European holiday. So the next day we gonna celebrate. That sounds like some backdoor slave stuff that y'all just did. Like, what do you mean secondhand slavery? Like, what is you doing? Like, you just gonna, okay, that's what they doing in the front. Okay, we gonna act like that in the back, but we gonna do it on this day and dress up and play this. Like, no. And he made it up. I bet you he get a stifling for that made-up holiday that he did for that.
Yeah.
Get some kind of kickback.
No, well, also keep in mind too, like, this man got out of prison and then was a professor at some university or whatever.
Oh, wow. Like, what? You can't even get a job doing the prison for torture. You get out for torture, and then now you professor.
You got a job. You getting honorary doctorates and stuff like that.
You be warehouse guy with that.
Actually, there's one for all the people who have some type of BS where they tell you can't get a job because whatever. Pull up Karenga stuff.
She did, right.
Say, hey, this guy got a freaking job after. And this guy actually tortured people.
Yep.
This man went on the stand and didn't even deny that he did it. He just talked BS.
Yep.
Like, how you not gonna deny that you did it?
Right.
Like, how they asking you?
He didn't deny the Black Panther thing either.
Yo, like how?
He got up there and said, "I won't be I won't be shooting any Black Panthers tonight." I said, "Yeah." He said this in the speech. It was quoting him. "I won't be shooting any Black Panthers tonight." I said, "Wow." He was just being belligerent with it then because you work for the other side now. Yeah. You can talk whatever buffoonery you want to talk.
Shit.
Man. And this is what they celebrating. I was telling the Green Sheik earlier when my aunt tried to make us do that for 1 year. And my mom is my great aunt, my mom's aunt. Mm-hmm. And so we had to do it, trying to be respectful to the elder. My mom trying something new. And she ended up saying, this Kwanzaa thing is expensive. Because she realized she buying us gifts every day, gotta cook new dinners every day.
Right.
Like what? Like because she didn't get the harvest thing and the spiritual.
There's two in the pot. There's two in the pot. Stir up.
They're not teaching that at all.
Stir in the pot. Just stir her up.
I was happy as all get out. Like, I like Kwanzaa.
Let's do this. Let's do this. I got my Tupperwares and everything. Let's go.
Every day.
Let's go. So we want to again put out. There's more being told. We just want to get into one of the last ones, the metaphysical meaning of 7. This is truthunity.net. The metaphysical meaning of 7. The number representing fullness in the world of phenomena. 7 always refers to the divine law of perfection for the divine natural man. Adam was a divinely natural man, and had he conformed with divine law, he would not have died. He would have just naturally slipped over into spirit man. In the spiritual, 12 is the number of fulfillment instead of 7. 7 is so universal, used as a mystical number, that its basis must be in some fundamental arrangement of the natural world. The golden candlestick that was made expressly for the use in the tabernacle in the wilderness had 7 lamps. This candlestick of gold with its lamps was also used later in the temple that Solomon built at Jerusalem. Everyone knows of 5 of these avenues, symbols of the 7 centers: seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, feeling. There are 2 in addition to these: intuition and telepathy. The solar plexus is the organ of intuition, and the brain the organ of telepathy. These lights have been dimmed by 7 sins. These sins have been given a 7-fold classification: pride, anger, lust, covetousness, envy, gluttony, sloth. The great purifying river of life must wash away these sins and their leprosy from the body. To bring this to pass, man must deny in 7-fold measure the darkest of error that obscures the inner light and life. The meaning of the sending out of the 70 by Jesus is that the 7 avenues of expression in man, the 7 senses or 7 centers in the organism, are to be trained in spiritual ways, and their efficiency is to be multiplied tenfold. 70 times 7 implies unlimited forgiveness. So don't worry about you're connecting back to your African whatever. If you're celebrating Kwanzaa. They played you. You see what you're going to do tomorrow. If you're going to continue on with the BS, go read a book or something like that tomorrow, right? If you really want to say, let's manifest some Kwanzaa principles, right? So today's self-determination. So you learn about yourself today, for real, instead of learning from some Black Panther destroyer sellout guy. Now we tied that to our first principle, the unity, right? So everything's there for you. How are you going to deal with the rest going forward? Like some, remember, self-determination is self. So after you deal with self, there's a unity of self is also higher and lower and knowing where you are. So you have your 7 days to light your 7 candles and do your 7 rituals. Starting with unity yesterday, self-determination today, collective work and responsibility tomorrow. 4th day, Ujamaa, cooperative economics. 5th day, purpose. Because you have to at least look at these from self so that you can get something out of it, right? The real gifts. Are you moving up the chakras? The real gifts isn't the stuff you opened and then the box had whatever in it. The real gifts is by the time you get past the 5th chakra and you move into Kumba and Imani, creativity and faith, you realize that, to God, we've been had our culture. There's not nothing new. This guy's been playing us. And you start moving in the direction of your nation. Instead of into some fiction. Just like certain people claim that Islam is a nation. They're not really a nation if you're in Black's Law Dictionary as Black Muslims. Clearly you're not a nation if you're Black. Obviously you're not a nation if you're Black. So we already know, and remember, John Henry Clark called them out. Don't get mad because we did something, because we were studying and we found out about these people are tripping about following some Kwanzaa or celebrating some Kwanzaa or even getting excited on some Kwanzaa. If you really want to exercise some Kwanzaa, look at all this stuff that you were doing metaphysical. And then you'll be doing some Kwanzaa. They're just beating the drum for nothing. How about open a vortex with that drum? How about take those 7 candles and make a 5-point star and beat the drum? And have everybody projecting, by the 7th day, you have everybody projecting positive energy at every individual, so everybody gets a piece
Yeah.
of really what this is about.